What's good, Spurs Knights? It's your boy Clan, the Spurs fan, here with a brand new video for you. If you could give me a like, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. I'm going live again, and I really enjoy going live, but at the same time, I feel as if people get like a little upset because I might talk about a subject and then like really later on in the video, then everybody's coming in, and I'm like, ah, shit, I gotta explain myself again. I'm gonna wait till at least like 10 people in here. So once about 10 people in here, I'll just go ahead and just go on my tangent. Clan, what's up, man? What's up? I have a theory, and I want you guys to hear me out. And I was actually thinking about it the other day, and I said it in another live stream, but I wanted to devote a video to it. So screw it. Let's just do it. Let's just go into it. So Spurs finals. Spurs going to the finals. Let's think this through. So in order to get to the finals, of course, you have to have the right team. You have to have the right talent, the coaching. Things have to gel at the right time. You got to have a little bit of luck on your side, etc., etc. But one thing that I think that we haven't really thought about, you say you don't believe the Spurs going to the finals. Well, hear me out. One thing that we have not thought about is the impact that the NBA has on who even goes to the finals. So I'm thinking of it like this. When it comes to the NBA, there's been plenty of years where it was pretty blatantly obvious that they prevented certain teams from going to the finals or even being in a situation to go to the finals. They did the same thing with the Spurs in 2015. They do it often, and it always seems like certain play calls are called in certain, I mean, not play calls, but certain fouls and certain situations are geared towards who the NBA wants to go to the finals. Because let's not get this mistaken, the NBA is a multi-million-dollar company. So it's going to be a little bit, I'm not going to say it's just rigged, but there's going to be a little bit of pushing towards certain teams getting to the finals because the NBA knows that's their way of making the most money possible. So with this season, who do you believe, multi-billion, sorry, I said multi-million, yeah, multi-billion, but who would you believe would make the biggest headlines? Who do you believe going to the finals would make the most money for the NBA? Think about it. I'm gonna let you think on that. Like, the NBA has input on who goes to the finals. It's not just cut and dry, you know, if you're good, you go. If you go, sometimes the NBA puts their, put their 2 cents in and stuff happens. But who do you believe? Especially since the Lakers are out. So since the Lakers are out of the playoff competition, I think that the biggest thing for the Western Conference Finals would have been Warriors versus Lakers. That's what everybody would have wanted to see, and the NBA knows that. But right now, who would you believe, or who would you want to be in the finals? I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. So what made the NBA the most money this season was a particular matchup. And that matchup was the Spurs versus the Toronto Raptors. Is it possible? I don't see the Rockets. I don't see the Rockets being the big headliner. I think the big headliner would be the San Antonio Spurs with DeMar DeRozan and the Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard going head to head in the finals. I think that would be the biggest headliner. I think that would make the NBA the most money, and I think they know that because that was their highest rated game this season. So I say all that to say this. I believe personally, and especially after seeing last night and what happened with the Warriors, how the refs were just like, screw y'all, we're tired of y'all, and Curry's coming down the court mocking the ref, and then they give him a bullshit call in overtime and say, get the fuck out of here. I really do believe that the NBA is kind of tired of the Warriors. I think that the Warriors are ready to self-destruct. I think that refs don't really enjoy the Warriors that much. And I think that in the big scheme of things, if the Spurs can stay consistent, they're going to have to do their part. It's not like anybody's going to give you anything. The Spurs are going to have to do their part. But I do believe that the biggest moneymaker for the NBA would be the San Antonio Spurs versus Toronto Raptors. And not only that, I think those are two teams that's talented enough to actually get there. With a little push from the NBA, of course, but you can get there. The Boston Celtics, at first I thought they could. I don't think they will. I think that team is just not. They can win games. They can win as many games as they want. They're just not going to click. When it comes to the Bucks, I think they're a one-man wrecking crew, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to show. But the Toronto Raptors, I think, is the most complete team in the East. I actually believe the San Antonio Spurs is the most complete team in the West. We just not consistent. That's our problem. But if we can stay consistent, if we can keep consistency in the playoffs, that's a big if, but if we could do that, I think that the NBA would actually want to see the Spurs go against the Toronto Raptors. That's just my theory. What do you say? That sounds too good to be true, but you're right. I never looked at it this way. Yeah, like, think about it. Because the NBA, like, right now, let's just look at the Warriors, right? And let's just do it face value, and let's say, you know what? Let's not even look at, if the refs help or if the NBA helps for any team to get in. Let's just look at the Warriors right now. The Warriors are arrogant. They're in your face all the time. But at the same time, they don't have that same chemistry and that team chemistry that they had years prior. Ever since KD started going on this tour talking about where he might go next, and Draymond Green called him a bitch, they have not been the same. Yes, they won some games merely on talent, but they have not been the same. You can see, even when they went against the San Antonio Spurs and we put a little beat down on them, they break. They break. They did the same thing when they went against LeBron and Kyrie. They break. They mess up a 3-1 lead. It's in them to mess up. They're capable of doing it. They are beatable. With that, and a mixture of the refs not really liking them, and a mixture of the NBA knowing ain't nobody gonna watch the finals if the Warriors are in it. No one's gonna watch it. I think, of course their ratings be kind of high or whatever, but the highest ratings they could possibly have would be DeMar DeRozan versus Toronto. Everybody would be watching that. The whole country of Canada would be watching that game. Everyone would want to see that game. Everybody would want to see, can DeMar DeRozan prove Toronto wrong, and can Kawhi Leonard stick it to San Antonio? That would be an incredible headliner. That would be an incredible series, and it would be incredible finals. And that's the best possible finals that there could be. Even back when the Lakers were trying to get to the finals and everybody wanted to see Kobe versus LeBron, the NBA tried to push it towards there. LeBron just couldn't get there. And we know how LeBron is, but he just couldn't get there. Especially at that time, he just couldn't get there. But you could blatantly see that the refs were in favor of trying to push that. Refs don't, and I will say it like this, refs help maybe 10 to 20% of these games. 10 to 20%. It's going to take you being talented. It's going to take you being consistent. It's going to take you having that clutchness to make it happen. But I do believe that everything as far as this season is in the Spurs' favor as far as getting there. Toronto Raptors are good enough to get there. And I think at the end of the day, these are two teams that's capable of getting there. These are two teams that could possibly make huge headliners. These are two teams that could make the NBA a lot of money. And this is one of those years that I think that it would benefit the NBA if the Spurs were in the finals. And that's just me. I don't think a lot of people seeing the Spurs is just, boring or nothing like that. I think they're thinking of that matchup. Those two games were very highly rated games, especially the first one. Like, everybody was watching that game. with Toronto and the San Antonio Spurs. Our key to pulling off an upset in the postseason is LA. He has to show that he can move the team over the hump to compete for a championship. DeMar is just a bonus. Matchups mean a lot. I agree with that. I agree with that. It's going to come down to our stars, and I don't want to say DeMar is just a bonus because he actually is just like a huge part of this. I think Derek White is going to show because that's just his type of personality. He's going to show up. But we're going to need DeMar DeRozan maybe equally as much as we need LA. But I know what you're saying. I really know what you're saying because a lot of teams in the NBA can't match up with LA. I mean, there's not many power forwards that can match up with LA, especially in the West. Like, it's non-existent. He can beat anybody. And now we're in a situation, now that you have DeMar DeRozan, you can't really double LA. So it is up on, it's up to LA. LA got to show out. What would be the best way to the finals? Best way to the finals to me would be 6th seed. So you wouldn't really have to see the Warriors. Hopefully the Trailblazers can stay above water. The rest of their games are really easy. So hopefully they can get those wins. Stay around the 3rd seed. We end up playing Trailblazers first round. Not sure who we would play second round. And then we wouldn't have to worry about the Warriors till the Western Conference Finals. And by that time, I think the Warriors probably would have self-destructed already. The only people who can kind of guard LA are Nurk and Gobert. Yeah, and I would like to add to that because the reason why I said that no one can guard LA as a power forward is because Gobert is at its center position often. He's not even if when Gobert is guarding LA, it's because LA is at center most of the time. Of course, you can switch that up as a coach, but most of the time that's the case. So I'm not really worried about it. Hope OKC gets Golden State because I think Westbrook and George would really like to knock them out. Yeah, but they're not. I know what you're saying. But Westbrook and George ain't gonna do a damn thing versus Golden State. Yeah, but yeah, that was just my theory. I just want to know what you guys think about that. That maybe the narrative would be best. Maybe the NBA would like to push this notion of, you know, a San Antonio Spurs. I don't know if notion was the right word, but San Antonio Spurs going against Toronto Raptors. Like, to me, that would be the biggest game. Like, that would be the best possible matchup for the season. And these are two teams that's capable of getting there. So it might be on our side a little bit. And the refs are it's blatantly obvious that refs do not like Golden State. And what Steph Curry did last night probably gonna bite them in the butt maybe for the rest of the season, because that whole pointing and laughing thing, it wasn't just those refs that's going to take offense to that. Refs have each other's backs. Like, they're like a squad. They got each other's backs, and they see certain tendencies that players have. They see how players treat the refs, and they don't like you when you do that. You stack your team, and then you start taunting refs when you don't get plays, you know, when you don't get the call. You know what I mean? Like, I think that the NBA could very well go in the direction of, hey, we probably want the Spurs to be there. Why aren't even clinched? We aren't even clinched yet, Clan. We can still fall out anytime. Damn right. You got to win the rest of them. And if the Spurs win the rest of them, they'll probably end up 5 or 4. Like, we went through on the last live. Was it the last live or was it the last before? I don't remember. It was the Manu Ginobili ceremony. At the end of the Manu Ginobili ceremony, me and a few other Spurs fans were in here, and we were talking about, like, where the Spurs will end up, and we looked at all the schedules of the other teams, and we were like, yo, Spurs, if they win out, they're definitely going to be like 6 fifths. Like, everybody's everybody's remaining schedule is pretty tough that's around us right now. Like, it's really tough. Oh, Kings came and lose a game. Oh, But all right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get off. Let me know what you think about that theory. Leave comments below once this uploads. And until next time, Spurs Nights. Deuces. Oh, and that is tough. We do have the Kings tomorrow, and that's gonna be